Good morning, everybody. It's Mark from MT Restorations again. You might remember on our previous video that we did some powder coating on our project, the Lionel Passenger set, the numbers 613, 614, and 615. I'm trying to get that project finished up. We're almost there. We have all the cars colored now. They've all been powder coated. And you might have seen the color scheme that we selected, and this is it. And yesterday I powder coated the trims. I used the cream color for the doors, windows, and the vestibule pieces and so on. So this is the passenger car. I put it together earlier today just to kind of get the feel on the colors all put together and operating. I like it. We got the brass accents. I got the new trucks on it. Well, they're really not new, but they are what we had in stock that goes with this model. So, you know, we went with the brass journals, so on. I think it came out really nice, and when the set's done, it'll be a great looking set here. Got the roof. We put the clamps back on and got that all done, so that's all functioning. So this car is what you would call completed right now, except for I got to put the numbers on, and I'll be doing that later on. So I'm gonna get this out of the way, and then we'll get into what I have next laying on the table. We'll trim out a few pieces on the cards, and we'll show you how that's done. So let me sneak this over here and let me point this down a little bit better so we can get a good bird's eye view of what's going on, and we'll go from there. So like I said, the color combinations have been selected. Did the window sections in a cream color or off-white, whatever you want to call it. They're also powder coated, so they're pretty durable. I did that yesterday afternoon and got those ready to go. The little vestibule pieces that go on the end, we got that there, and we did elect to go brass, so I got some new old stock from a parts guy that I use a lot, great guy in New York. I got the handles, and if you remember, this door was blanked in from the previous owner. For whatever reason, he did a nice job of blanking it, but he blanked over, he soldered over these little square holes where the railings go. And he blanked off that door. So we took out all that, cleaned all that up, and we're going to put them back the way they should be. Also, I elected to keep the basket, the rear rail, whatever you like to call that, and I powder coated along with the car. I kind of like it blue, and then I elected to go with the little brass trim pieces on the reflectors, the reflector rings, and they have a little red light in it, so it kind of sets it off a little bit. And I'm thinking about what I'll put on that little plaque. Haven't decided yet, but so I put those on a couple of minutes ago just to see how they fit. They fit great. So we're going to do a little trim out for everybody here. I'll do it as quick as I can so we can move through these. Put that on there, and what I'll do is just kind of bend these tabs over. Now that the tabs are in there, you can probably see, hopefully, I'm not sure, it's kind of dark in there. So I got the tabs, and I just kind of kink them over a little bit. There we go. There, all four. So we got that put on. Looks good. And like I said, what we have is we got the little railings, the little brass rails I got from my parts guy. The other ones that we had were nickel painted red, and then they were painted gold on top of that. So other than trying to strip all those and redo them for these, I just got some new old stock from my parts guy, and we're going to pop these in there. So we get this in there. There. There we go. Okay, so we got these two in. Again, just get your screwdriver in there, put a little twist to the right, a little twist to the left, and that will take those down. So that takes care of that side. Excuse my head in the way. So we got these four on here. And again, just keep some pressure down on it for it don't wiggle around. And twist it to the right, twist it to the left. There. So we have these on. There's none on the back, no back doors. So what we'll have is we're going to have just these four on this car. Now I noticed the actual 614, which was the observation car, this back panel was replaced by I don't know which owner, previous owner, whatever, but they came with a small square window and a door opening similar to this door opening, just an opening for a door and an opening for a window, smaller than this but a little square opening. And below that window they did have one of these railings back there horizontally under the window. That's the way that model came back then. This one does not have an opening for a door or a window. So the next piece, we can take one of these window sections, slip it inside here, and let's see how that works out. Now remember, when we take these apart, I mentioned about being very careful with the tabs, because the tabs are very fragile and they do break off, and once you lose one or two, it's sometimes difficult to keep these in place very well. So we want to be ginger about getting the tabs lined up again. So it looks like we could move this one over a little bit. We just want to line them up as straight as possible with the window section, where we can get all four of the bottom ones in place and have them pop through. There we go. Those four seem to be lining up with the holes, so we'll try to take advantage of that and keep that going. This one's going to fight with us here a little bit today. There we go. It's starting to come back around. There. Okay, so now we got to get the top ones lining up, which so far so good. Looks like we got 3 out of the 4, and this one needs to pop over a little bit. I'm trying to just persuade it over a little bit without breaking it off. There. Okay. There we go. Oh boy, that was a journey there to get those all in. So there's 8 tabs over there, and they're all relatively stable. They're in good shape. They're not ready to break off, I hope, but they all lined up very well. So we got those snapped in, so it looks pretty sharp with the trims and the gold. It's going to be a nice piece when it's all done. So what we'll do next is I'm going to put a truck on, and we're going to put on one of the couplers. What I did is I got these couplers with the hole. These aren't really made for this. The original had a little slot, but what I'm going to do is they had holes in these. The guy drilled a lot of holes, so I'm going to use the hole here, and it works well with these couplers. They came with latch couplers in the beginning on 1931, And in 1935, they switched to a box coupler. I think I mentioned that earlier in one of the videos. So, but I'm going to use the latch couplers. And what I do is we have a small screw. I like using those because it's easy to disassemble later. And I just put I use a lock nut, because if you don't use a lock nut in time, with the couplers going back and forth and moving around as they rumble along the track, they will come loose. The nut will come off. And some cars it's not easy to get into, like these with the roof sections coming off. It's not that easy. So what has to happen is you have to take it all apart again. So, but I still like to do the and a lock nut is you kind of just lock it up a little bit to where it's really snug, then you back it off a little and have that. So you want the coupler to move around freely, and the lock nut keeps the nut on the thread so you don't lose it in there. So like I said, so we got that coupler on the front. We don't need one on the back. It's the last car in the set, so it doesn't need to connect to anything. So the trucks, again, we got trucks that I had in stock. I had to create a couple with the rollers and so on. So I do have that. And what I like to do is, these trucks were made with 3 little bumps that stick out, little sharp little knife points, sort of. And what I do is you run that on the car, paint or powder coat, it doesn't matter. You want to have good continuity between the trucks and the body, the shell, because we need the ground and the positive all to be good continuity for the lights don't flicker. Some lights flicker, there's a reason for that. So the best thing I do, you need contact. So I kind of sharpen these up with a file, and then I run them on the car and press a little bit and run some of that paint or powder coat off the bottom of the car where you have metal to metal contact. That's just a habit I have. So, because you don't see the top of that when the truck's on anymore. So, and you'll see if you take some cars apart, you'll see that where it's wore down, there's a ring around there, and that's the reason. They want that continuity. So, again, we have a roller, put the spring in here. Let's see what we can do about getting this put on. We want to get that lined up there the best we can. And let's go here with this here. Oh, got it on backwards. Not that it makes a big difference, but the reason there's a little knockout on these is for the wire. Gives you a good place to feed the wire in. So you just have that spread out enough to get those around that coupler. There, okay. Now that it's on there, you want it to be moving freely, but you don't want it to come off. So what I like to do a little bit, channel locks, kind of grab it at the top, dangle it down, grab it by the top edges of that, and squeeze a little bit, just enough to pinch that back together, and that'll keep it in place. So we have that done, and so now we need to do the wheels and the journals. Like I said, I did get some new old stock, and I got some journals here we're going to put on the trucks. And since there's 2 doors on here, I got some newer old stock steps, and if you remember, these go in here like so. And then they with the tabs inside the car, you bend those over and you'll have those on. So we'll do these first. That way we don't have to worry about messing around. So that'll look nice with the brass step. So you just put it in the slots, bend the tabs over. Tabs aren't really thick, so you can do it without too much difficulty. You just want to bend them over enough and they'll be nice and sturdy. Nice and sturdy. So we got that one on. Let's get another one on. And again, they go right into the tabs. There's 2 slots in here. You want to hold them tight with your one finger. And again, let's see here. Get those in place here. Okay. Now I can see better. Okay. So we're going to push those, bend those over. There's one. This one's a little stubborn, so what I'm going to do is start it. Just put a little twist in it to get it bent over enough so it's curled down. Oh, there we go. Then we just push it down. So that one's there. It's good. We got those on. Yeah, it's going to look nice. So back to the trucks. We'll let that sit there a second. With the trucks, you just got to put the journals on, bend this over a little bit, the bottom one. Put a little 90 bend, or almost a 90. And you just, the way these go, the rounded part goes down. So when the truck is this way, so the little part that you bent as a 90 on the straight flat part goes down in the bottom here first, and you bend that over, push that through, get it started a little bit, give it a, and then I just, boom, that's it. One down. Pretty easy, pretty quick. Okay, I found some wire that we're going to use, and I found my little insulators. So I made up a light insulator contactor, which goes in these fixtures. Kind of a simple deal. You just solder this on the end of the wire, and you just drop it into here. Put a bulb in. That way the bulb will actually hold this contactor in place for you. And it's pretty snug. I don't probably need to tighten this screw up too much at all. But this tighten it screw, and it'll give you a little bit of extra strength there. So what we're going to do is drop this. We're going to put this fixture in right in place here. This kind of goes right there. We'll put this wire towards the back, and we'll fish that through. Actually, what I'll do is fish it through first, and then what we'll do is connect this light up. So there's a hole in the bracket up here already for a screw, and we just put that down in there. Good thing I have magnetic screwdrivers. They are definitely a time saver, usually. I'll switch over to my favorite screwdriver. Okay, so that's secure. We've got the wire kind of down behind. I strip off a little bit of this. Leave a little bit on there that you could wrap around the screw on the truck. I always get these little fuzzies that don't cut off. So I have a special little tool for that. There. So again, we have the truck with the screw. I like to feed that down into there. That kind of helps it. So what we're going to do is open that screw up a little bit more. We're going to make a little loop on here. We're going to get that down around that screw. In theory, it all sounds good. Okay, I think it's around there. Let's find out. Snug it up. It appears to be. That's a good thing. So what we'll do is put the truck on. Might as well for now. So what I'm going to do is shorten this a little bit. They're too long. And we'll just use my lineman's, cut a little bit off of this cotter pin. Use my needle nose to slide it through the holes. If I can see, okay, there's the direction of the holes. Put the cotter pin in, push it to the loop as much as you can, get a little screwdriver between what's left. Just spread those out a little bit. It's not really going to go anywhere. If you can see down in there, hopefully, that cotter pin. I'm going to try to keep that as snug. Now, hopefully now, like I said, we will be able to get good contact. We'll find out. There's a remedy to that, so we'll try it out after we get more of this together. So there we go. We got the rear truck on, the light fixture in place, got a bulb. We want to dress out one more set of trucks here. Again, my wire, my little contactors. I got a little bag of these to make up the lights. I'll have to make up a couple more for the other cars. The baggage car didn't come with a light. Not that I can't put one in. I had some of the old fixtures from the original, which weren't the right ones, but I could put one in there. I'm not sure if I will, but it's a real simple process. Like I said, you get the trucks that, you put the mounting bracket on that accepts the roller and the spring. I have several of these, so we'll be in pretty good shape to do that. So let's get these trucks here ready to go real quick. I won't put the whole thing together right now because it's kind of boring. What I wanted to do is, if you remember, we took the squeeze clips off of these to powder coat them. So I have a set here. How these go back on is kind of simple. If you kind of watch how you take them off, put those down through the hole there. These spread out and they kind of fit, and there's a slot. There's a slot in here, and the little tabs fit in that slot, just facing forward, and then re-rivet these to the roof. So I'm going to do that right now, in keeping with the white trim theme. I'm going to use a white rivet. These aren't fancy. You probably ask, well, what happens at the other side? You got this big thing sticking up. Well, it's certainly not that big. And this roof snaps on, and it kind of covers that up. So you don't see those, but if you did, and if it didn't fit well because of that, what could be done is those can be ground down a little bit or filed down somewhat. So again, line that up. Put your rivet through. Okay, so we got those riveted back on. Now these will be a little bit stiff for a bit because of the rivets. What I do is put a little bit of oil, just a little bit, and then they work themselves in place. Put a little bit of oil where they rub, just to keep them lubricated. One crosses over top of the other one, so they're snug, they're tight together. I want them kind of tight. I don't want them loose. I don't want them to wiggle around. And you can even put a little bit on where they move. You can use a little WD-40. Don't spray so much that you got it dripping out or running out. What I've been doing is I spray a little bit into a cloth or into something first, and I dab it out with a toothpick and apply it. But so in the beginning, what you'll have, you just work that and slide it over the tab and push those back best you can. So again, this was the one. We had a little bit of roughness on it, a lot of pitting. I didn't want to sand it any more than I did to get the pits to go through. I didn't want that to happen. You sand too much on some pitted metal, it'll actually start to go through, and we didn't want that to happen. So it's not terrible. It's not perfect, but considering the age and what it went through, I think it's going to be okay. Sometimes it's unavoidable to have some of the old marks on the vehicles that are structural to do much with them, especially the powder coat. So you got these tabs on the side. Underneath here, we want to bend those over a little bit. I use a fairly stout screwdriver and position it, kind of hold on to it. You just want to kink that over. Be careful not to slip off and stab yourself or a loved one nearby. And just bend those over. Just take your time and get those over best you can, like that. There. So that's back on. These are back together. Let's see if this even works. It seems to be down everywhere. Yeah. And like I said, first couple times, just work it. The spring loaded, they rub a little bit because of the new rivet, but they will wear in. And it's all locked up, all latched up, ready to go. So again, I will put this truck together. We'll get that put on. And then I have 2 more cars to do. I'll do another video to Mark doing a passenger car and show you that, put that together. But you kind of get the idea of what we're doing here. So it's not a real difficult process. So that's it for now. Like I said, there'll be probably one more video in this series. It'll be the last one, just to have them all put together, and we'll put them on a track, light them up, run them around, and you'll see from start to finish what they were and what they ended up being. So until then, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any comments or questions or other issues that you want to discuss and maybe I can help you with, that'd be great. Again, my name's Mark. I'm at MT.TrainRestorations, all one word, @gmail.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.